In this tutorial, I will demonstrate the association map, or AML interface, which is an interactive visualization highlighting connections between three different entities: vendors, materials, and plants. Right now you see the visualization displayed in a browser window. It consists of the circular area displaying items as nodes, circular nodes for vendors and plants on the right hand side, and the materials in the middle. There's also a search interface on top that allows you to search for a specific item if you don't want to find it by just clicking. So clicking on each of these nodes will reveal the connections. So for example, clicking on the vendor node 302500 highlighted that this specific vendor supplies this material QFJR1004 to the specific plant DM20. If we want to see all of the materials received by this plant DM20 and vendors who supply them, we can click on that plant. And this reveals all of the materials that are supplied to this plant and the vendors that supply these materials to this plant. There might be other vendors supplying these materials. So for example, if we look at material EHEN 1500 and click on it, we will see all vendors that are associated with it, in other words, all vendors who supply it, and all plants that receive it. But notice that this does not really indicate the specific association between the three entities: vendor, material, and plant. If we wanted to find out specifically those vendors that supply the material to this specific plant, we can enter the plant information in the search box. And that will show us that actually this plant receives this material from both vendors. When it comes to the other plant, DM20, DM20 receives this material from 305500 only. So notice that when both connections are highlighted in the same color, that means indicates a three-way relationship. Basically that this vendor is supplying this material to this plant. But when the coloring of the links is different on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, so that indicates two separate relationships. So this is an association of material with vendors, and from this association we do not know which of these vendors would supply to the associated plants. We just know that these two plants receive this material, but we do not know which vendors supply this material to each individual plants. To find that out, we would need to further specify the two items to find out which third item is related in this association. So to summarize again, you can select connections from a plant to reveal materials received and who supplies them. You can click on the vendor to find out which materials the vendor supplies and to whom specifically. And you can also click on a material, and that reveals the connections both to the vendors and to the plants. And furthermore, remember that you can also specify any combination of items in the search box. So for example, if I want to find out if this plant is receiving anything from this vendor, this kind of a search will reveal this information. Please remember that this prompt underneath the search interface summarizes the result that is highlighted in the visualization. This concludes our presentation. You can go ahead to the next step in your task list. Thank you.